What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. We're back again doing a live playthrough of just some old content that's returned now on Global. We've got Clash of Blackbeard V2 back on Global. It's been a while actually since, it's been a while now that it's been active in Treasure Cruise Global. I believe it came out around the time of Whitebeard and Marco, because that was the raid that released with it on JP. I don't remember if the same thing happened on Global. But I remember when this first arrived on JP, a lot of people were frightened against V2 raid Blackbeard because he has 25 million HP. Which is quite significant, especially for a raid boss character. But if you guys haven't maxed this guy out, I would highly suggest doing so. Raid Blackbeard has a pretty interesting special where he just removes a lot of debuffs by only one turn though. So he removes Rainbow Shield, enemy Threshold, enemy end of turn damage, Blue Shield, damage nullification, barriers, enrage, enemy attack up, enemy healing, and resilience. All of those debuffs are removed by one turn, and when you use his special and you're below 10% HP, you get a 2x attack boost for all characters during that turn as well. So overall, like, this character is actually pretty decent. It would have been awesome though if his removal of debuffs was more than one turn. But even, I think that would have been kind of too OP if that's the case though. But that's the main reason why people don't use him as often, is because he only removes those debuffs by one turn. But it's not a terrible ability overall. I think he's actually pretty decent still. But let's go ahead and run through it. So the team that I am using this time around for this playthrough video, shout out to Xistens for putting up his V2 ZORO, is V2 ZORO, of course. So we are using a full slasher based team. And the main component of this team is this Perona supported onto ZORO, because on the final boss stage, she changes all your colored orbs into Dex and Int orbs on your slashes, which means that ZORO gets his better boost with them, which is very good. So that's really important for the ZORO team. We've got Little Oars Jr. He's very important for this team as well, as he will resist paralysis on our crew by one turn, which is going to make it a lot easier as we make our way through this content. We've also got Mr. 1. Now, Mr. 1 is important on stage 4 to remove the enemy's threshold. However, I feel like with this team and the way that how ZORO does a lot of damage with his special ability, it probably would make a lot more sense to just save his HP cut that he provides for the final boss fight. That probably makes a lot of sense. We'll have to think about that one as we go. But we've also got Cracker. Cracker's pretty nice because on the final boss stage, you can get given bomb orbs. So he can help us manipulate those into beneficial. And then we've also got this Cavendish who has a conditional boost. And we're using the, I forgot the name of this ship, the Flying Dutchman, to give us the defense down ability with the Cavendish conditional boost. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and hopefully clear it. I have tried this out a couple of times and I have failed a lot. And hopefully with all the knowledge that I've gained throughout playing with this team, I should be able to clear it this time around. So let's go through it. So stage 1, we've just got some turtles and some regular mobs. This is obviously going to be our stalling stage, of course. But man, like, I really wanted to use V2 Mihawk for this stage. Unfortunately, on the final boss fight, if you use an attack boost or an orb boost, he removes your beneficial effects, shuffles your orbs around as well. So, like, V2 Mihawk didn't really make a lot of sense for this particular boss fight. So that's why I opted to bring ZORO. Now, ZORO is a lot more trickier to build with because, of course, as we've said, you need to have Dex or Int orbs in order to get the 4x attack boost with ZORO. Honestly, I would have loved it if he was just, if it's a matching orb, you get a 4x attack boost with your slasher units. It's such a huge drawback, the fact that it has to be a specific color. Very, very big drawback. It just makes team building so much more annoying with him. Even though there are some ways around it, either way, at times it can still be even RNG at that point to still hopefully get enough damage towards the enemy. I mean, at the very least, he does give you a 1.5 times HP boost. That is actually pretty nice. And he also makes the Dex and Int orbs beneficial as well. He also does that as a sailor, which we've already showcased a lot with V2 Mihawk as the captain. So at this point, how are we doing? Let's go ahead and use Cracker here, because with Cavendish having a matching slot, that's going to do a lot of damage towards that turtle. And now we've all got matching slots, so we're just going to kill this room. There we go. Now, stage 2, this is where stuff starts to get tricky. Typically, it'll get tricky. So you get paralyzed for one turn. Because we have the sailor ability of Little Oars Jr., we can just remove that, which is nice. All the mobs at the back have a 2-turn cooldown, so we can actually get an additional turn of stall here, which is really, really good. And then we're going to move on to stage 3. Stage 3 has the Seahorse stage, and also another thing that happens on stage 3 is the fact that you get paralyzed for 2 turns. So at this point, we could use the Little Oars Jr. special ability, or what we could do is use the ZORO special just to KO the room. That could also work as well. So let's just use this ZORO special, KO the room, and then because of the Sailor ability resisting paralysis by 1 turn, we can just move on to the next stage and completely get around it. So now we move on to stage 4. Now stage 4 is the interesting one, especially with this team particularly. Now, they do apply a damage threshold. Now, we can remove it during this turn here, but remember, we got to use the ZORO special ability to carry his attack boost into that final boss stage. Very, very important to note. So the way that I'm thinking is I think see, I could use it here to remove their threshold. I was just thinking about it as well. I don't think it's a good idea to even use his special ability on the final boss stage either, because he does manipulate your orbs randomly, which means that there's a very high chance that our orbs could get changed from, you know, the int or dex slot. So that's not really that good, actually. But I think what we want to do is get it down to just 1 enemy, and then we can use the ZORO special ability with the threshold, and hopefully that'll give us enough of a damage cap to apply the 4 perfects. Because remember, we need to hit 4 perfects with ZORO, and that's the main thing that's really annoying with ZORO, is you have to hit 4 perfects specifically. If it was only 3, like, this would be a cakewalk, but because it is that many, we have to kill one of these enemies and probably allow the threshold to stay up so that we can get the 4 perfects. But let's see how we go here. We're going to KO one of the enemies first. One of them first. And we get a bit of damage output on this guy. And that should be enough. So at this point here, let's go ahead and activate the other ZORO special ability, which does a lot of damage to the enemy. But of course, with the threshold, we should be good. And then we're going to hit 4 perfects. We're going to try and hit 4 perfects. Hopefully it doesn't KO him, and carry the buff into the next room. So without further ado, let's hope that works. Alright, we got to hit 4 perfects. Let's do it. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. We've done it. Alright, we hit 4 perfects. Moving on to the next room. And hopefully we get type orbs on our side characters. Now, I think we get orb manipulation on this stage. Do we get orb manipulated? Yeah, we do. And we do get type orbs. Okay, that's actually perfect. Couldn't have gone any better there. That's really, really good. So at this point here, we essentially have the best case scenario. We have our attack boost. We have all of our specials ready to go. So at this point, let's activate our conditional boost first, so we can go ahead and reduce his defense because he has a delay immunity. He doesn't have a defense down immunity. Use Cavendish to go ahead and lock our slots, as well as giving us the 1.75 conditional attack boost. Very, very good. Now, let's go ahead and use Cracker, which is the 1.75 color affinity, as well as the chain boost, which is really, really good. Like, this adds a lot of extra damage to our team. And then we can just use the Little Oars Jr. here just to reduce his HP by 10%. Now, I don't think this will KO him in 1 turn. I think it will take multiple turns to KO him. But remember, we have our orbs all locked, so we do get beneficial slots for the next turn. And we're going to have the highest possible damage output with our slashes here. Like, they have so much damage output there. So without further ado, let's break it down. Let's do it. Let's do it. Boom. 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 Oh, it did KO in 1 turn. Yo, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if we didn't use that health cut from the Little Oars Jr., I don't think we would have KO'd there. Now, of course, he actually does a lot of death damage there. I think it's about a 20,000-ish, 25,000 death damage. Of course, ZORO has a lot of HP, so we were able to tank that quite easily. And that's pretty much it. I mean, when he revives, he's already on a 2-turn cooldown once again. We've still got all of our buffs. The defense down conditional is no longer active, but we have the chain boost, we have the color affinity. Now, we can see that we do get blinded as well, but that shouldn't be a problem. We only have to do about 200 to 300,000 damage here, so that shouldn't be too difficult. There we go, boom, done. Yes, yes, we did it. Okay, so V2 ZORO coming through. Definitely not the most optimal team, but again, it's just really fun utilizing teams that I really wouldn't be using all that often for very obscure content. So that's kind of crazy. You know, this actually did take quite a while in order to beat and just to understand the way to use the special abilities, because I was using Mr. One's special ability on stage 4 when, obviously when you remove that threshold, the enemies really didn't have a lot of HP. We were just doing way too much damage there. We can get rid of... Yeah, we don't need that either. Yeah, we were just doing way too much damage. We weren't even getting our 4 perfects in, and of course that 2.25 times, the 2.25 times attack boost from Zoro was very important there, as you saw. We only did 24 million damage, which was like just enough to get over with that HP cut that Little Laws Jr. provided. So again, really fun utilizing the slasher teams, really good fun, and definitely not the most optimal teams, as I said, but you know, it's really cool utilizing these characters out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, breaking down the slashers once again. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.